Hello there, sword friends. My daughter is having a piano lesson, and I'm going to be irritating while she does it. I have a sword here that basically this is a James Raw katana, one that I've had for sale for a bit, and a slight problem has come up just as it's been sitting about, and that is that the Tsuba wiggles around a little bit. The hot and cold kind of expand things a little bit, and so now there's a slight horizontal rattle. One of the SEPA isn't on here, and that's why it's not really locked in vertically, but I noticed that it rattled a little bit moving back and forth this way. So I'm gonna just try and correct that right now. So what I've done is I've removed the Makugi. Those are the little pins that go in the handle right here. I pop them out. And then what I'm going to need, what did I do now? Okay, there we go. And then took the handle off. Got the first SEPA off already. That's sitting over here. And then just get this. Now I'm going to take the blade and just leave it over here for now. What I have is a nail set, a small, and then a little hammer for swinging around. I do this right on my table because I only care about the condition of my swords, not the place I live. Okay, the basic instruction for this is you take a nail set and you whack it in a couple places on the Tsuba, and that pushes the metal together slightly, which is going to result in a tighter fit. Tighter fitting Tsuba, it's going to correct the wiggle horizontally, kind of back and forth this way. It's not going to really correct a vertical wiggle, but it'll correct a horizontal one. So I'm placing the nail set, giving a tap. Locations I'm whacking it now are grabbing the blade All right. Now, if I get it too tight, I won't be able to get it on the darn thing, and I'll have to adjust accordingly. But given the amount of room that was there before, I shouldn't have too much problem. It'll just take a little finagling. Now that one corner, I pounded it in pretty deep. That's probably a little too deep, but it's not that big a deal. It's going to hold it on nice and tight. Now all I'm doing is wrapping a towel around it slightly so that I can not worry about marring the surface. Wiggle it up there. Now you can see it's been corrected, it's on there, and it's, you know, almost friction fit. There's no wiggle at all. Now I'm putting it back together. Put the Tsuba on. You can probably see maybe through the light that there's the holes line up. Take Mikugi 1. This one actually has 2. Now you can see no rattle. So now giving them a little tap in. And there we go. Now there's no rattle whatsoever. Except for when I get it in, I have to be careful about how I put the Mikugi in, because when there are 2 of them in there, they tend to pull off one another. There we go. Nice and tight. So that's just a quick walkthrough on tightening up a Tsuba. I'm obviously not the best at it. That's why I don't like doing it. But it's easy enough to correct. Copper is a really, really soft metal, so you saw me bite into it a little deeper. That made me have to push a little bit harder to get the Tsuba on. But steel, iron, those move a little rougher, you might say, and so you have to bang on them a little bit more than I did this. But this soft copper, a couple good punches, pushed enough material around that it just tightened it up, and now no wiggle. Yeah, I really like that sword. So now the Tsuba is tight. It's just a quick maintenance thing. I thought I'd show you. It doesn't require rocket science. It's not necessarily a terribly surgical procedure either. You can be a little bit more gentle with the nail set and gradually try to fit it on. I took a little bit more Hulk smash approach, but you can see it all works out real well in the end. The inside of that is obscured by the Tsuba, so no one really sees the inside of it. And in addition, if you push enough metal around, then you get a harder, nicer fit, and it's less likely to rattle in the future the tighter it is. The downside is, if you're talking about copper, I was able to kind of just push it around a little bit. I was able to push it up a couple light taps and we're all good, right? However, if you do the same thing, if you move the same amount of material that I just did and it was steel, you might have to take a Dremel out or try to pound some of that material back, because it's going to take a little bit more pushing to get it to fit on the sword. So be gentle, be nice. I've done this a couple times, but really I do it very, very rarely, and you can see it probably shows. What I should note is the solution that we just had was to correct a issue with horizontal play. Now that's when the Tsuba wiggles kind of back and forth, right? Back and forthy. Lateral play, moving up and down, isn't really going to be corrected by what we just did. It kind of can be if you whack at it hard enough, kind of like I just did. It almost has a friction fit, and that will obviously correct some amount of lateral play as you're moving around. But one good hard pop, and it's kind of gone. Your friction fit isn't going to be there anymore. So what you really need to correct lateral play is going to be another one of these, a Tsuba. And so these are washers. Now sometimes what you'll find is just you have a little bit of lateral play, like it's just a little itty bitty amount of lateral play, and one of these is way too much space. I mean, they're pretty thin. This is, a millimeter, half a millimeter thick, and that is way too much. So in that case, you can take your old Netflix label and cut out the shape of your Tsuba, make it a little bit smaller, and you can use just a piece of paper. Put it underneath your Tsuba, and there's your minimal spacer. I usually cut out a couple sheets of paper, because I find that usually one sheet of paper is too little. Maybe 2 or 3 sheets of paper, all of a sudden I have something that's just giving me enough to correct minor lateral play. I've also seen goofy things like dental floss used, of all things, to correct that, or an application of some sort of resin or glue on top of the fuchi or something like that. The point is that if you want it to be kind of small and unnoticeable, so it's usually cut slightly smaller, than the Tsuba is, and that can help correct lateral play. I didn't need to do it on this one, so naturally I'm just talking, and that probably isn't as helpful as showing, but hopefully how to correct horizontal Tsuba wiggle was helpful here. Anyway, that's all I have for you. Cheers, and thanks for watching.